Hello and welcome to the CASTcast. This is the podcast for the Association for Software Testing and specifically for the conference of the Association for Software Testing, otherwise known as CAST. I'm Michael Larson.
And I'm Claire Moss.
And today we are joined by Arun Dutta. Hello, Arun.
How are you, Michael?
We're great, and thank you for joining us today. So the first thing that we like to do with all of our guests is we like to get a little bit into your origin story, get to know what brought you to where you are today in your career and what's bringing you to CAST.
Before I start, I'll definitely like to say I'm very excited to know that I was selected as a speaker for CAST 2017. And naturally, we all know it's a music city of USA, right? So I want to get some glimpse of country music in addition with my presentation when I'll be on Nashville.
Excellent. I think there will be chances to go see a little bit of nightlife.
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you.
I do believe that there is a honky-tonk crawl that is going to be part of the after-hours festivities.
Oh, thank you. I'll love to join that. Basically, I'm from Calcutta, which is popularly known as City of Joy. And currently, I'm living in Webster, New York. Here, I have a lovely wife who has done some research on image processing, and I have a baby boy of 4.5 years. I have a keen interest in reading and writing different technical papers. I worked across the globe as a performance tester, performance test lead, and now working as a performance test manager in ATOS, North America operations.
Such an interesting field. How did you decide that performance testing was the area that you wanted to focus on?
I was selected Cognizant and Campus. I joined Cognizant as a .NET developer, and suddenly there was an opportunity for performance testing, and I don't know, I like it because of so many good things about the performance testing. For an example, people talked about speed. Everybody talks about response time. People talked about stability. So that makes me a little bit highlighted on my mind, and I started joining that practice. I started writing some of the best practices, some time-saving concept, some better code snippets, or maybe some issues and resolving them in quick time and assisting other team members for flawless delivery. I remember back in 2009, Cognizant was having a global white paper competition known as Fanosopy. That sparked me, and I started writing a paper and I submitted it, and it got selected as a 10-based white paper. It was global distribution performance testing. That's kind of turning point, I will say. And since then, I started reading a lot of technical papers, did some kind of certification, and also writing a publishing magazine for the companies. Also work as a technical training coordinator. So that's how actually I started writing papers on different things. But most of the papers are very focused on performance testing. So that's good. Whatever I do, I try to write on that only.
Well, it's great that you're getting involved in the community in a different way. Have you presented at a conference before?
I was selected in QA Test 2016, which was 15th International Conference on Software QA and Testing. This will be my second one. I do write a lot of papers which was published on Eurostar, Hurdle. This year, there was one paper which was for Agile TD, and I was also selected for Agile TZ Mondays, which will be telecasted on 4th of September this year. So it's more into every time I do write on selective and performance testing.
So your talk that you're going to be giving at CAST is continuous regression performance testing for enduring in market. Continuous regression performance testing. Now, I will admit that those are 4 words that I have not seen in conjunction together before. And so I'm definitely curious as to what your talk is going to be about. I understand what regression testing is. I understand what performance testing is. And I understand the continuous that gets put into stuff. I'm curious as to how you're going to be able to do all 3 of those. I assume that that's what your talk is going to discuss. So can you give us a little taste as to what this is and how you implement it?
So nowadays, high performance for an application is no matter reliability, but a basic need for business. So you all know high performance for an application is definitely required. And we also know that nowadays customers are well aware of the benefits of performance testing. Companies are more concerned about the increasing rate of changes in the market, where they not only need to compete with others, but also familiarize with the speed of changes to adapt time to market pressure. So performance testing now becomes very crucial every time application goes live, no matter whether it's a major release or a minor release or a sprint for agile based project. It is time to make continuous regression performance testing a compulsory for all the projects since early phases of SDLC to avoid big loss and reduce overall cost. You have to do performance testing, you have to do regression performance testing. So every time you are making changes, you have to do performance testing, no matter whether it's a small changes. And then you have to do it continuously. Your job is not to finish till pre-deployment, but you have to also think about post-deployment, what you can do for performance testing. My article assists you to know the values that can bring continuous regression performance testing over normal or traditional performance testing, why continuous regression performance testing is mandatory for enduring in the market, and what are the things that needs to be remembered while making it as an ongoing process.
I guess I'm interested in the continuous part of it because I've seen teams who used performance testing as kind of a check before going live, but it was periodic, not as frequent as other kinds of reviews of code. So how do you help teams to make that mind shift to getting that performance testing feedback earlier in the cycle?
Most of the cases, companies do performance testing, but they don't get leverage out the full benefits of performance testing. You do it at the last moment, you don't know, even if you have some issues, you have to go to production because going live was much more important at that point of time. This kind of checklist or maybe like my paper is definitely going to help you to understand what are the things that you have to do before going to production, and even thinking about when the deployment is completed, what exactly you have to do.
So when you are doing that kind of after the deployment activity, are you working in conjunction with operations people, development people, testers? Who gets involved in this kind of work?
Business analysts, it will be operation people, it will be definitely tester, and development team will be always there. It's like a continuous activity which will be starting from the requirement gathering and will be continuous till post deployment.
So if I am a tester coming to CAST or a test enthusiast, we don't necessarily assume everyone's just a tester. I know that I'm in the target audience for this talk that you're going to give.
Ultimately, it's the tester job is to implement it while doing the testing. You need to be always with the team. You need to be discussed with, or you need to know what exactly the operation team is doing. The segmenting matrices that you are going to get from production log analysis, which you can be used for your testing. So it is actually tester who is doing the job.
Do you think it's important to have a background in performance testing to be able to understand your talk?
A little bit of performance testing will be a good idea to have it, but I think in most of the cases, all the testers or all the people nowadays, everybody is concerned about the scalability or stability or the speed or response time.
So Arun, one of the things that you mentioned here, and I've heard it a couple of times, is that you talk about the idea of the values that you can bring for continuous regression performance testing. So I'm curious, can you share maybe one of what you think those values is?
Take an example, like nowadays you did the production log analysis, okay, and you get some new business scenarios, or you are expecting that business is expecting a anticipated growth down the line. So now how we are going to implement back into your script so that you do the next round of testing before goes to production, or maybe like you are adding a new feature into applications. Nowadays there is so much pressure from the market side, right? You have to implement that into your script, or you have to ensure like that is not going to break your application, the new features. So that's kind of concept of regression. I will definitely like to put it as a value, or maybe like the new ideas that you can put inside your performance testings.
All right. Well, it sounds like it's going to be an interesting talk. We look forward to getting a chance to meet you and get to know you a little bit more at CAST, and we hope that those listening will be excited about being able to participate in this talk as well. But remember, to be able to do so, you need to go to www.associationforsoftwaretesting.org, click on the link for CAST 2017, and sign up. We would love to see you there. And with that, we'd like to say thank you once again for listening to the CASTcast, and we look to be coming back to you very soon with more speakers, more participants in helping put the conference on, and just more details about CAST. So thanks for listening. Hope to see you soon.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.